Hello everyone. So we'll see how to do insert operation using SysDA query. So for that, I will create a runnable class. And I will add this one. So the scenario that we'll take is we'll try to copy a record from our curse table to our curse group. So what I mean by this, so what we'll do, we'll try to insert this statement like these two fields. So what we'll do, let me put this. Okay, so we'll copy our account num, comma this payment term ID field data from cursed table to, let's copy to invent site ID. Okay, so we'll copy these two field data to this invent site ID field, and here we'll use these two field. Let me do a select this invent site ID into invent site. Oh, yeah, here we go. So we'll copy this record to this name field and site ID. So let's say to site ID comma name. Okay, so we'll copy this, we'll use this, and yeah, let me right. Okay, so the first thing is we are going to use two tables, right? Our source table would be our curse table. So we'll write here curse table, and I need to copy data to invent site table. So I will also define buffer of this invent site. Okay, so till now here everything looks to be simple. Okay, so now we need to form two types of statement, that is in which table we are going to insert. So first of all, we'll use the SysDA insert object, because we need to insert data into this particular table invent site. Okay, from cursed table to invent site ID table, invent site table, and fields are, yeah. So let me write something like this. So I've defined here SysDA insert object. Okay, so I will create an object here. I will say insert object. I will say new SysDA insert object, and here I will pass my table. Okay, so in which table I need to insert the data? I need to insert data into this invent site. So here I will simply write my invent site. Okay, so we are done here. But now you also need to define what all fields you need. So we are going to insert data into this site ID and name field from my invent site table. So what I will do, I'll say here insert object dot, here I need to add fields, so I'll say field, then I need to add field, so I'll say add, and inside my add, so inside my add I need to pass this string name. So I will pass my first site ID, so I'll say field str, and I will say invent site, and here I will pass my site ID. Okay, so then let me put a dot here, then I will add my second field. So my second field is name field. So I'll say add, I'll say a field str, field str, and here I will pass my invent site comma name. That's it. So this is simple. So here we have defined, we are going to insert data into these two fields like site ID and name from my event site table. Okay. Now I need to define my source table as well. So to play with my source table, I will use SysDA query object. So in the last video also we have used the same object. So I will say here query. Let me write here query only. Say equals to new SysDA query object. And inside my this query object, I need to pass table. So my source table is cust table. So I will use here my cust table. Okay. And then here I need to specify my fields. Okay. So into this my SysDA query object, I need to use a function called projection. And then I need to add my fields. So my field from my cust table are account number and cust group. So here I will say field str str, and here I will say cust table. I will say account number, and then I will add my second field. My second field is was this add gets auto added. Okay, I will add field str. Okay, sorry. Here we go. And I'll say cust table dot name. Oh, sorry. I think I want to use the cust group field, right? Okay, I want to use the payment term ID field. So I will use my payment term ID field. This one. Here we go. So I will close this. Okay, so till now what we have done, these are source table, these are target table. In my source table, here I have defined I want these two fields. So these two fields are binded into this query, and this table and these two fields are binded in this query. Similarly, in my insert object, in these two fields, now my system knows the site ID and name fields are going to get data from this one. Okay, now I will simply say here insert object, and when you put here dot, you say query. Now here you need to pass your query SysDA query object. So your SysDA query object, inside your object or inside object query, you are going to pass your SysDA query object. Okay, here you simply pass this one. Okay, and now to run the statements, you always need to use the statement like SysDA insert statement. Okay, let me define its object as tmt equals to, it's a new SysDA insert statement. Okay, simply close this. Now you can use this stmt statement dot execute query, and here you need to pass your SysDA insert object. SysDA insert object means this object, and we have already embedded query. So we'll say simply say insert object. This one, here we go. Okay, so now we'll say TTS begin, because we are doing a transaction, so we need to put this inside TTS begin and TTS connect. That's it. So this is a simple classical example to copy data from cust table to event site table. So let's do a build for this one. Yeah, so guys, the build is completed and I have run my runnable class. So now if you see, all data from my cust table has been copied to my event site table. So I simply put here data area ID, and you see all the customers, and their name. So inside the name field, their payment term ID field is there. So you see here, all these records get updated instantly. So typically here I should have added a where clause as well, but I didn't. I want to copy the complete data from my cust table to event site. So I'll simply reiterate one more time what we did. So the goal was to copy the data from this field to this field, and by using SysDA API framework. So for that, what I did, I defined insert object. Here I need to define the table where I need to insert my data. So I want to insert data into my event site table. Then I need to add fields, in what all fields the data will be available, and the sequence as well. So here I simply added my field, and I added these two fields, site ID and name. Okay. So in this way, this query knows that I need to feed data into this and this field. Then we need to define a query. Okay, so we use a SysDA query object here, and here we define this table from where we need to copy data, and then we added these two fields like this account term and payment term. So what we did, we simply selected these two fields like the account number and payment term ID from our cust table, and we created a query. Then in our insert object we added a query. We added this query. Then in order to run this statement, we need to define a SysDA insert statement object. Okay, here we simply created or initialize this one. Then we use this execute query function, and here we use this insert object function, and we put our TTS begin and TTS commit as we are doing changes in our data in our transactions. So this was a simple tutorial how we can copy the data. So thank you for watching this video.